update. My entitled mom wants me to pay my creep stepbrother's student debt. Original post. I, 29 female, have an older stepbrother, Chris, 42 male, who has been a nightmare since the day my mom married his dad. Let me give a bit of a background. Our parents married when I was 4 and he was 17. Both our parents were widowed. After their wedding, we moved to the US since my mom had American citizenship through marriage. I was born in the US too, but after my dad died when I was a year old, my mom and I moved back to Colombia. Stepdad got his residency through marriage and my stepbrother because he was a minor. My stepbrother wasn't a big fan of me. My only memories of him are just constant bullying. He would be left in charge of me since he was studying locally and lived with my parents, but mostly his babysitting really meant things like locking me in the guest bathroom or the shed outside. He would steal my lunchbox whenever he was the one who dropped me off at school. He even began to harm my pets. I have an old cat that has been with me for almost 22 years. He tried more than once to run her over with his car. My parents never believed any of it. He is the classic golden child. My mom absolutely wanted a son instead of a daughter, so my stepbrother took priority over me. The bullying just kept getting worse and creepier. He had this long key for the bathroom. The door was designed in case it got locked by accident. One could open them by inserting a long stick or key through a small hole on the outside. He would use it to walk in on me showering. My underwear would disappear sometimes, and I know for a fact it was him. He also started taking pictures of me sleeping. One night, I woke up to him taking care of himself next to me while I slept. I yelled obviously. My parents came over, but he wasn't in trouble. I was for tempting him. I was 14 when this happened. He was 27. No one helped me and he got bolder until he did something I'm still in therapy for when I was 16. It got to a point where I called my biological half-older brother Sam, 48 male and son of my biological father's first wife, to see if I could live with him and his wife Sandy during my last 2 years of high school. When Sam found out what was going on, he confronted my mom. My mom didn't care and just told him to take me, so long he never asked her for money. Done and done. My brother and his wife became my legal guardians and took me in with my cat and the old family dog, since I didn't trust leaving any living creature with Chris around. My parents never checked on me. My extended family from my father's side knew what happened, and they immediately got together to ensure I could finish school well and go to college. I don't know my maternal family at all. Thanks to my paternal family, including Sam's mother and her family, I got my bachelor's and master's, no student debt, and work as a nurse practitioner. I still live with Sam, his wife, and their 2 kids, and I pay a small rent. Neither Sam nor his wife expected me to pay anything, but that's the least I can do for the 2 people who have taken care of me for 13 years. For anyone wondering why I didn't move, it's incredibly expensive where I live, and Sam insisted I stay with them until I save enough to buy my own home. Things seemed okay until my mom messaged me recently. She had not messaged me since I was 18, when she told me she no longer had any responsibility to me. In this message, she sounded very friendly, telling me how she missed me and asking how I was doing. I was a bit creeped out, but decided to be nice, telling her about what I had done since leaving her care. She seemed very interested, since apparently she knew I was a nurse, but not what kind I was. She began asking about my salary. I didn't tell her anything about it, but that it was enough to pay the bills. My mom then began texting about Chris and how he was barely making any money due to his student debt. Apparently, Chris never finished a degree, jumping from career to career. He is now working in my stepdad's used car business as a salesman, but most of his pay went to pay the substantial student debt he got over the years. I told my mom how sorry I was that Chris was having a hard time and wished him luck. That's when my mom finally got to what she wanted. She texted me that I needed to pay his student debt so he could finally begin to make the money he deserves like the man of the family. I just turned off my phone. When I got home, Sam was surprised since I was usually the last to arrive. Sandy wasn't home yet. I told Sam what happened and showed him my mom's text messages. I don't think I've seen Sam this angry ever. He told me to block my mom, stepdad, and Chris if I had not done so yet. After talking with Sam and Sandy, I called my boss to ask the next day and the one after off. This gave me a 4-day weekend, including the days I'm normally off shift. My boss was more than okay with this and told me to just take it easy and let her know if she could help. This backfired because the next day my mom and Chris decided to come to Sam's house to speak to me. I was alone since Sam and Sandy were at work and the kids were at school. I immediately called Sam and told him what was going on. He told me not to open the door and that he was on his way. My mom spent the whole time screaming that I owed them for raising me and that my sweet brother deserved the money. Chris was going around trying to find a window or door unlocked. There wasn't any since the windows have safety bars, and the only other door is in a closed garage and one in the yard. The yard one was locked, and just in case, I locked the one in the garage. I won't post what he called me when he saw me from one of the windows, but basically he pretty much told me they should have thrown me away when I was a baby, since I grew to be a bee. He pounded in one of the windows so hard, he actually cracked the glass. Eventually, he gave up and went back to the front door, clearly trying to kick it down. I didn't have anything to worry about. The door was a security door, but I was still very scared. Between yelling, threatening, pleading, and insults, I finally heard Sam screaming to them to get lost. I only saw things from the window. Sam pretty much dragged them both off the porch. They got to a point I couldn't hear, but I saw my mom and Chris pale and look scared before they pretty much ran to their car and drove off way past the legal speed limit. Sam came in a bit after and immediately went full overprotective brother mode, asking me if I was okay. He kept saying sorry and hugging me. Sandy arrived almost immediately after, and she looked like she was about to commit a felony. Apparently, Sam threatened him with filing charges for what he did to me when I was 16. My brother's ace was my stepdad willing to testify against his own son. That seemed enough to get Chris off our backs, but not my mom. Since then, it's been 3 days and my mom has sent texts called non-stop with various numbers and rallied a group of people who are supposedly my maternal family to harass me for money. She claims that money should legally be hers since she is my mother, that it's my late father's missed child support. Sam is helping me find a lawyer to get a restraining order on my mom, and I plan to take my stepdad's offer to testify by pressing charges against Chris. I can't say I can forgive him for not stopping his son, but I appreciate his at least trying. I don't know the details, but Chris did something to a relative of his dad, and since then they have a really bad fallout. I took my boss's offer and will be on vacation for a few more days. But here it is. My vacation days are getting eaten up, and my therapist might need a therapist after. Thankfully, my dark sense of humor and supportive paternal family are keeping me somewhat sane. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Love, take a breath. You've been through a lot in a very small amount of time. Breathe. I know you need it. I'm so sorry your own mother is doing this to you. It sounds like Sam and Sandy are helping you do everything correctly though. I'm so glad you have them to back you up. God, your mother's a piece of work. I'm glad Sam and Sandy are on your side. Block your entitled mother and the rest of the flying monkeys so you can have some peace of mind to breathe. I personally prefer the description of mom and stepbrother as being baddish crazy. Make sure your credit is locked. First update. I didn't think I would be making an update so soon, but my mother is unrelenting. To the people that were so kind and gave me advice earlier, thank you so much. It really helps to have people show kindness in difficult days. I follow with the advice to freeze my credit, and I will be getting a new phone for personal use. We'll have to keep my old phone for work for a while. Now to the update on the situation. We are going through with pressing charges, and might do a civil lawsuit for 2 years of child support my mother owes. We are not sure yet of our chances on it, but my brother Sam wants to go scorch earth. As for my mother, she began a new campaign. She's been posting about me falsely accusing my stepbrother Chris of SA. She's been accusing me of being a temptress that tried for years to sleep with my brother. It even got a few relatives, who I just found out are my aunts, to join in saying they were witnesses. I never met these women in my life. My stepfather actually commented in her post, saying my mom was lying and accusing his own son of being a pedo. That's how I found out what was the big fallout between them. Stepbrother went after one of stepfather's nieces. I don't know the girl's age, but she has to be about my age if I'm thinking of the right person. If not, she's younger than me. A lot of my biological father's relatives have also gone into social media to call out my mother, saying she had always claimed she was an orphan and had no family, while now she has 3 sisters. It's a mess. I'm just watching for now and being a stay-at-home aunt. My nephews love it, since we go out after they finish homework for crazy shenanigans. My boss has helped me with some paperwork for leave of absence, and I should be off for about 6 weeks. After, I'll be mostly working from home for a few weeks. Not the greatest update, and to be sincere, things are not fun. But it's nice to spend time with the kiddos at least. Also, forgot this. No, my mom is not likely sleeping or in a relationship with my stepbrother. Some people had mentioned this. My mom always wanted a son. I was a disappointment because I was born a girl. She treats my brother like he's her real son, and I think she truly loves him as a mother. She made sure to tell me how disappointing it was for her when I was born. Screenshot all she says and save it. My brother got it. I have her blocked. I would post them, but there's a lot of personal information that will be hard to blur. She put the whole rant over a picture of us as a family, so it would be hard to blur faces. Wow, she's a special kind of evil, isn't she? Big hugs. The sort of crap happened to my wife. That money isn't for student loans. So glad you have your brother and his wife. Hugs to you. What a freaking mess. When you do press charges, see if you can get your expenses for therapy covered as part of the case against him. It's the least they owe you. And be strong. He did it before and will do it again. He needs to be locked away. Second update. So this might be my last update on the mess with my mother and stepbrother since we're finally starting the legal fights. But I finally had a good laugh. In my previous post, I haven't said a lot about my biological father. He died when I was a year old, so I never really met him. I have one picture of him holding me when I was an infant. I mostly know him from stories from his family. What I do know is he was a man of means. He had a lot of assets that he had carefully divided in his will. Not like so rich I'll never have to work type, just rich enough that I would be able to live comfortably, so long as I worked and did right by my finances. I was not aware he had made sure to leave me with anything. Neither did my half-brother Sam, his son with his first wife. I'm the daughter of an affair partner turned second wife. My understanding was that anything I inherited was wasted by my mother to buy things for her predator stepson Chris, who she prefers to me. In her words, daughters don't need inheritance, just marry a wealthy old man like me. Well, since my mother and Chris have been harassing me lately, we drove to my dad's lawyer to get some things we need from my dad's records for the lawsuit we are planning. He's a sweet older man, kinda looks like my dad a bit, and was my dad's best friend. When we met, he received me with a hug and told me how happy he was to finally meet with him. His wife was there too, and she also gave me a big hug and told me we needed to have dinner at their place. Once we all caught up, we found out my mother had been faking receipts to get money from my trust. A lot of it. Some of it from when I was under Sam's guardianship. And she is not the executor of my trust. She had to provide receipts for anything. She's been sending receipts for me because I'm still in medical school. I finished school in 2021. Well, her meal ticket not only got torn, but now she's in big trouble. Because this is fraud, and basically my hands are tied about pressing charges or not. She claims me as a dependent on her taxes, so my dad's lawyer would refund her for her expenses. He basically told me there's just no way we can keep this just in civil court. He had to contact IRS and the police. Doesn't help she's been using my social security number for some things she shouldn't. Thank you for the people that advised me to freeze my credit. You guys saved me for sure. I probably won't be able to post for quite a while, and I'm going to be incredibly busy. I'm just mentally exhausted about how much has happened. I wouldn't have done anything about my mom using my trust if she had left me alone. I wouldn't even know about it, because the trust is set for me to take over it with proof of marriage or graduating college. And since I didn't know about it, I never sent the required paperwork to take control. She could have milk it dry if she left me alone and just kept sending fake information. I am in the process to get what's left of my trust. There's quite a bit in it, and should be enough for me to get a house or condo if I combine it with my savings, and still have left over to invest or do other things safely. I might wait for a while to buy anything though. I don't know how safe it would be, since my mom still have my social security number. Last story. Update. Am I the a-hole for never telling my mother I'm married into money? Original post. I, 34 female, have a difficult relationship with my mother. She had me when she was 17 and was addicted to various substances when I was growing up. She'd leave me with whoever would watch me for days on end, and I'd end up mostly raising myself. I left home at 16 and couch surfed with various friends until I was able to get my own place. At 25, I met my now husband, and we got married 3 years later. His family's the polar opposite of mine and are incredible. So loving and warm. I honestly consider his parents mine and call them mom and dad. They also happen to be quite well off, but that isn't something I care about. I mention it because it matters to the story. Last year, my mother reached out to me after a decade of not speaking to her, wanting to reconnect and introduce me to my little sister who was 2 years old. I was confused as I hadn't even known she'd been pregnant, but it seems she'd been a change of life baby. I thought maybe she'd turn over a new leaf, and if not, I wanted to make sure the kid was okay. At first, it seemed like things had changed and she was trying. This illusion lasted for the first few visits over 6 months. Then she broke down, told me she couldn't do this, and asked me to take my sister. My husband and I had a long talk about it. We'd been struggling with fertility and had been considering adoption anyway. We told her if we were doing this, we were doing it right. And we had his family lawyer ensure it was a legal adoption and airtight, which took several months. My in-laws adore her and consider her their granddaughter. They've even set up a trust fund for her. We have allowed my mother one supervised visit per month, so she's not totally cut off from my sister. But it was during these visits things went badly, as she saw how she was dressed and the toys she had, and realized they were expensive. She began to rip into us for hiding the fact we have money, and how if we'd had just given her money, she'd have not given us my sister, as she could have taken care of her better. I told her while we have some money, it's mostly my husband's parents' money, not ours, so she had no right to know about it. Also, that I wouldn't have given her money anyway as I didn't trust her. She broke down calling me a selfish bee who'd never considered how hard things were for her. I now feel some guilt. My husband has told me if it would make me feel better, he'll give her money. But that seems like a bad idea, as she'd likely use it badly or blow through it then expect more. Despite this though, I do feel bad. Maybe I should have tried to help her more now my luck is better, or maybe I should have been honest with her. Am I the a-hole for keeping this from her? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. If hubby wants to pay for something, it can be a treatment program for mom to get the help she needs. But you are most definitely not the a-hole. Mom is trying to manipulate. I tried many times to try to get her to get clean over the years, before I cut off contact. She had no interest, and I don't think that has changed at all. If I thought that she'd even consider it, I'd be having him do that, if it truly wants to spend money on her. Don't give her a penny. She'll come back for more, and you know she will deep down. Yeah, I do. I want to help her despite how she was with me growing up, but I know that's not the right way to go about it. Just this has brought up a lot of old feelings I thought long gone, and guilt. Your mom doesn't want the money so she can take care of your sister. She just realized she lost her chance at a free meal ticket before she gave her up for adoption. Now for the update. I got some really good feedback from my post, and it led to my husband and I staying up most of the night discussing what we wanted to do, and a decision was reached. It wasn't an easy one, but we have a child to think of now, and she has to come first. We blocked my mother on every social media. We changed our phone numbers, and we reached out to the family lawyer to get in contact with her to inform her that all visits have been stopped, after how she spoke to me in front of my sister. She has to get clean for at least a year, with weekly tests, if she wants to see my sister again. My mother can contact our family lawyer if she needs help with the tests, but beyond that, she gets no help from us, unless she wants to go to rehab, which we will pay for, directly to the rehab, not her. My husband, sister, and I have also moved in with my in-laws for the time being, as my mother knows where we live. We will be looking for a new place, and my in-laws are aware of the situation and that we are cutting all contact for now. Honestly, my in-laws are delighted to have us staying with them. When we arrived, the guest room my sister is using for now had an army of squishmallows on the bed. They are her current obsession, and my father-in-law makes sure to bring a new one each time he sees her. I always think she must have them all now, and each time I'm wrong. How he keeps track of what she has and doesn't have, I don't know, as he never buys doubles. We are settling in well. We are even planning a small holiday with just my husband, sister, and I to get away from the stress we've been under. Nowhere abroad as she doesn't have a passport yet, but we'll be fixing that soon, as we want to take her to Lapland for Christmas. All in all, we're doing alright, though I admit I'm feeling very conflicted and guilty over this. Even though I know it's the right choice, it just doesn't make it easy. Thank you all so much for your comments and advice on the original post.